Hey everybody, Jimmy Smith. This time doing a card breakdown for you. I don't do every fight night, depending on obviously how good the fight night is. This one has the return of IsraeI Adesanya. So I think it's a big fight night. It has 3 big fights on it and 3 that aren't as big leading into the main card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a drive-by of the first 3 and then dive a little bit deeper for the last 3 to help you guys out. So starting off, pardon me if I screw the order up a little bit because different sites are telling me different fight orders. I tend go with Sherdog, but you never know. So starting at the bottom of Sherdog, Muhammadjon Naimov versus Khan Ofti. Simple one. Ofti has 1 fight in the UFC. He lost by knockout, I think in round number 2. And when you look at Muhammadjon Naimov, that dude is like a tank. He's, I think, 5'9" and about that wide. He's just a stocky dude. I remember looking at him and thinking, man, I like his aggression. I like the way he moves forward. Not the most versatile guy on the planet, but very good inside. I got to go with Muhammadjon Naimov, probably by early stoppage. I think he's about a 3-1 favorite, so not going to make a lot of money. I just wouldn't bet again. But I wouldn't bet on the guy who's had 1 UFC fight and lost by stoppage. So Muhammadjon Naimov, certainly has some potential at 145. Was on a decent streak, and then it got snapped. Last time, against Felipe Lima, lost by rear naked choke, but it had some decent names before that, a 6-fight win streak. So I got to go with him by early stoppage. What is next? Farah Ziam versus Mike Davis. This is one of those coin flip fights in the lightweight division. Mike Davis had 2 years off between 2022 and 2024. Came back and won by arm triangle in round number 2. So had a lot of time off, and usually it's really hard to recover from that, and he did. Came back and looked good. Faraz Ziam at 16-4 is more experienced. He's on a 4-fight win streak. No big names for either guy. Beat Matt Frivola last time out by knockout. That was in round number 3. Jai Herbert, but it hasn't taken on any fantastic names. So it's a coin flip fight. And if you have a coin flip fight, whoever you can get the better odds on, that's when you take. Mike Davis is a slight underdog. I go with Mike Davis on this win. This one probably by decision. Mike Davis right now. It's Faraz Ziam, plus 124. Got to go with Ziam. Once again, whoever you can get odds on, that's who you take. And Faraz Ziam, plus 124, I would go with him because that's where you're going to make money. Leading up to say Magomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira. The one time I'm not going with Magomedov. 18-3. He's Magomedov. He's rangy. He has very good timing. He's big for the weight class. But Vinicius Oliveira, 21-3. Very experienced. He's on right now a fantastic streak, 4 in a row. I liked how he looked against Ricky Simon. I really thought he looked great in that fight. And I remember, I think I picked Ricky Simon at the time. And Vinicius Oliveira really impressed me. All right. So just kind of breaking in the UFC. He's only won 2, but when we look at Said Nurmagomedov, I don't see any great wins. He's not blowing guys away. Lost to Jonathan Martinez, a tough fighter, but I don't think Jonathan Martinez was great. Lost to Joni Barcelos. When I look at his record, he's got a good submission game, obviously being under Magomedov, but I think if you protect your neck and keep the pressure on him, I think Oliveira has what it takes to pull the upset here. And Said Nurmagomedov right now, minus 162, Vinicius Oliveira plus 136. I'm going with the underdog here. I'm going with Vinicius Oliveira. I think it's a very interesting fight. Now, moving on to the top 3, the big 3 here. Sergey Pavlovich versus Yarinho Rozenstruik. Yarinho Rozenstruik was one of those guys we thought would really be a contender in the heavyweight division. He's a Dutch kickboxer. He has, a lot of versatility, a lot of things he can do. I know he's from Suriname, but he's trained in Holland. Knocked out over him. People kind of thought he might be the next boogeyman, and it's been up and down since then. Every time he's had that next level guy, the elite of the elite, he's gotten beat, and it hasn't been particularly close. Right? It's like he runs into those guys who really know what they're doing, and you can see the difference. You can see he's not really there. And right now, 15-5, but it's the level at which he is losing kind of concerns me, because every time it's been a step-up fight, Jailton Almeida, Alexander Volkov, Curtis Blades, Cyril Gahn, Francis Ngannou, he's been blown away. The question is, where is Sergey Pavlovich right now? Remember, when he took on Tom Aspinall, these were the 2 guys that are, who can, be the elite of the elite. Tom Aspinall blew him out of the water. Next fight, he loses to Alexander Volkov. He has great short-range power. He's a big dude. hits really hard. What I don't like about this is he's a 3-1 favorite. You can get big money on Jorginho Rozenstruik. Rozenstruik still has the physical ability to knock someone out. He still has the physical ability to catch you with a big one and put you down. Anytime I see a heavyweight who knows what he's doing, who has decent power, who's more than a 2-1 dog, take him. And that's where I'm going with Rozenstruik. I would give Sergey Pavlovich the edge here, but he's lost 2 in a row. His confidence can't be great right now, and he's taking on a versatile striker. So go with the underdog, make the money on Jorginho Rozenstruik. And if you're going to go with Rozenstruik, do it by knockout. Only thing that makes sense. So Rozenstruik by knockout over Sergey Pavlovich because you can get plus 245 on DraftKings, for example. So now to the nitty-gritty, the co-main event. Shara Bullet versus Michael Venom Page. Shara Bullet, a minus 185 favorite over Michael Venom Page. If you've seen me break down any Shara Bullet fight, pre and post, what do I always say? He's so hittable. He's unbelievably hittable. And one of the things, to me, that separates the good from the elite is they don't get hit much. They have really excellent defense, or they keep you on your heels so badly that you really can't do much damage to them, or they're wrestling so superior, they have such a toolkit that you can't really do anything to them. Great fighters, really great, right? The elite of the elite. Don't take a lot of damage until, they're in championship fights, okay? Then you might take some. But on the way up, remember Anderson Silva, John Jones, GSP, whoever's on your Mount Rushmore, Khabib, they just didn't take a lot of damage coming up. They blew fighters away, and then it got a little bit tougher. Shara Bullet is taking a lot of damage in fights that he's winning, right? And a lot of times he's winning impressively. He's just getting hit a lot. That wears you down real quick. So Michael Venom Page is really accurate, does have decent power. He's funky. He's hard to hit. If Shara Bullet had better defense, I would think, okay, he could maybe make a brawl out of it. I think he's going to get hit a lot coming in. And people tend to underestimate MVP's finishing ability. And Shara Bullet's a big favorite. Minus 185, almost a 2-1 favorite. I got to go with Michael Venom Page. I'm going with a lot of upsets here. But I got to go with Michael Venom Page over Shara Bullet because I've been critical of this guy's defense from the beginning. His offense is very, very good. He's got power, can take you out. A double spinning back fist, a great way to finish guys. I don't think that MVP gets in those kinds of exchanges. He typically doesn't. So he'll snipe you from the outside. If you put pressure on, you can beat him. But Shara Bullet, I think, is going to take a lot of damage coming in. I really do believe that. Got to go with Michael Venom Page. Don't know if he finishes him. Got to go with Michael Page on that one. And the over-under is 2.5 rounds. The under is minus 220. Dude, are you kidding me? I'm sorry, the over is minus 220. That makes more sense. The under is plus 170. Yeah, sure, make some money on maybe he catches him before 2.5 rounds. That makes sense. IsraeI Adesanya, Nazuruddin Imavov. Right now, IsraeI Adesanya minus 155. This is a huge fight. And what I would call pretty much a crossroads fight for IsraeI Adesanya. I wanted to spend a lot of time talking about this one because it's about the mentality of Izzy. Normally, a guy like IsraeI Adesanya, he's lost 3 out of his last 4 fights, but they've been to the elite of the elite, period. Lost to Alex Pereira, Sean Strickland, and Dricus du Plessis, right? So they were all championship fights. He avenged the loss, of course, to Pereira. Then he lost 2 in a row to Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. Could he be losing a step at 35 years old? 100%. Could his timing be a little bit off? Totally. Timing and speed tend to be 2 of the first things to go for a fighter, okay? So, but his fundamentals aren't bad, right? It's this idea that I don't know where he is mentally, okay? Physically, he's slowing down a little bit, which is to be expected at 35. Mentally, it's a totally different thing. Looking at a mountain you have to climb when you're 25, and looking at a mountain you have to climb and you're 35, and you've been there before. You've already been to that. Like the mystique of being champion. Yeah, you want to be a champion again, but the mystique of dreaming the impossible dream is not impossible. You did it before, so he's not going to get a championship shot anytime soon. It would take at least 2 wins at 185, maybe 3. 35 years old. Does he have time to do that? It's about what he thinks his ceiling is right now, if that makes sense. I think it's mental. If he believes, okay, I can get back to the top, or all right, I'll make a lot of money being fight nights or co-main events, and there's still money to be made for me, but I got to beat the Nasruddin Imavovs of the world. If he's really motivated, I think he can win. But I don't know where his head is, and it's really hard from the outside to figure out where that is. Nasruddin Imavov is one of those guys who's a possible contender at 185. He's good. He hasn't yet, in my opinion, crossed over to great. A great performance against IsraeI Adesanya launches him into that conversation, and you can't get around that. So part of the contrast I find interesting here is you have a guy who's been to the top. Does he have the desire to get there? Versus a guy who's 29 years old. He's right in his physical prime. He's won 3 in a row. His only loss in his last, whatever it is, 8 fights or something, was against Sean Strickland, where he lost by unanimous decision. Might have been a little too much too soon. But Ian Heinisch, Edmund Shabazian, Joaquin Buckley, Sean Strickland, Chris Curtis, Roman Dolidze, Jared Cannonier, Brendan Allen, you see kind of the steps up in his career, and every single time he's looked better. Brendan Allen is a tough dude. Really tough dude. And he brought the physical pressure. He looked good in the stand-up, looked good with the takedown, looked solid all around. Hasn't shown me that next level stuff yet, but this could be his opportunity to do that, to kind of break out. And the hard part is, I think he's more motivated than Izzy. I think he just 29, I'm right here, I'm about to do this. And Izzy in his prime, I think probably eats Imavov alive. He's not in his prime anymore, right? I don't know where he is. Is he going to be like an Anderson Silva, where he just goes too long and ends up with loss after loss after loss, or BJ Penn or something like that? Or can he right the ship and have a decent end chapter to his career? The problem is if Izzy loses this one, especially in dramatic fashion, it's going to be tough for people to believe in him anymore. And who's mentally in a better spot? I mean, they both should be motivated, but Izzy's already made a ton of money and is already kind of maybe 1 foot out the door. I don't know. And when you look at the odds, it is IsraeI Adesanya, a -155 favorite. Going to do it again. Nasruddin Imavov by upset, +130. I think he's in the right place motivationally. I really think he can do it. And this is his opportunity to step up. I'm taking a little bit of a risk here because I love IsraeI Adesanya. I think he's great, and he's only lost to the top of the top, and that's not what Imavov is right now. But I think with his versatility, with his pressure, he wins a decision over IsraeI Adesanya, and he's a dog, so make some money. Anyway, picked a lot of underdogs. Let's see if they pan out. I will, as always, own my picks on Monday. Give me a like, a subscribe, and I'll see you soon.